What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. Today, we have a lot going on. We had, in Bachelor Nation, we had an engagement. We have an engagement party. And then here with me today to help co-host is Serene. Serene, hi. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling. We're going to get into catch up with you and our special guest for today's episode. Because we have The Bachelor premiering this Monday, we can't wait. Why not bring on some of Zach's close friends? We have Tyler and Nate from Rachel and Gabby's season and Daniel from Michelle's season. Daniel actually nominated Zach, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he was also on Clickbait. So we're going to talk to all of them. But first, let's catch up with you, Serene. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Crazy whirlwind of like the holidays and just being all over the place since the finale. And so Brendan and I are just trying to settle into our little apartment here.
Okay, where is your apartment?
We live in downtown San Diego.
Okay. Oh, you're part of the San Diego Bachelor crew, huh? There's a lot of you over there. How has life... When did you guys move in together?
We moved in together like while the show was still airing, just because we didn't want to wait any longer and we didn't want to be apart.
Did you feel like... I know it was really important for Serena and I to just like be together a lot, like right after the show. Is that the same for you guys, or did you guys really like wait the 3-4 months?
What do you mean? Just like being together like every day?
Yeah.
That was all we wanted. It was hard enough coming off the beach and then separating after getting engaged, and having to, just be apart. I lived in Oklahoma and he lived in Austin at the time, and he was like between there and Oregon. And so we just wanted to be together, be in one spot.
Did you guys ever get spotted?
No. We tried really hard not to. Lots
Nice.
of ordering Uber Eats and like takeout and stuff like that. But no, we never got spotted.
So I know how that day is, and it is truly like, it's very intense, right? You fall in love, but you also just met this person, and then you get engaged, and it's like maybe the biggest moment of your life. When you're at the airport in Mexico by yourself, were you like, whoa,
Yeah.
what just happened?
Yeah, for me, it was more like getting in the van to go to the airport. I'm like, I have my phone. Where do I start? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then being in the airport and just being like, this was crazy. Like, yeah, exactly what just happened. I don't even think it had hit me yet while I was sitting there in the airport.
So how quick did you know that you like made the right decision? Like, I'm sure you did, like on the spot, like you wanted to do it, but then like when you collect all your thoughts, you're by yourself, you're finally home. Like, how quickly were you like, okay?
I think I felt like comfortable with it. Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, or anything like that. It wasn't like a realization. Like, it was like, okay, like this is my life now. And then just like preparing to tell my family was like the weirdest part, like coming home. And then I think it was around like the 4th of July. And so like my family was like celebrating 4th of July. I like snuck to my brother's house and told him first. And then like my whole family popped up and I was like, hey guys, I'm back. And also I'm engaged.
Were they excited for you?
Yeah, they were
like,
excited.
okay.
They were like a little like freaked out, honestly. My brother has a video of this somewhere. I still haven't found it, but we like had Brandon on FaceTime. So thank God it went well. He did like, no one knew he was there. And I'm like, guys.
Yeah. Wow. It's an intense moment. Okay. You guys also, you got a trip to Hawaii, right? Did you plan that yet?
We have just started planning it and we're so excited. He's been to Hawaii a couple times. I've been once. I have an uncle there, but it's one of my favorite spots. And we're kind of just now like narrowing down what island we might want to visit, but we're just getting the ball rolling on that trip.
Well, what island?
I think right now we're leaning towards Maui.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've never been to Hawaii. And I think if we go, I know a lot of people say Kauai, but I think you want to do Maui the first time to get like,
Yeah.
you know, like the traditional experience. Do you guys watch White Lotus?
No, I've been trying to convince him to start it, but then a couple people told him it wasn't good, and now we've watched everything under the sun, so I think we're gonna do it anyway.
It's good. It's good. But the first season, it's very aesthetic, you know, when you watch the show because it's in beautiful locations, but the first season is in Hawaii. So
Ooh.
it'll give you some motivation to really get out there. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to share? What else is new?
I mean, nothing else. We're just still trying to get our footing and like, you know, being at home together, because even though we had moved in together, it was more like, okay, we were hidden. So it still wasn't necessarily like normal life yet.
Yeah.
And so for us, like in the new year, we're trying to like get a schedule and like figure out like, you know, everything at home because we've been traveling so much. So yeah, just all of that. But I'm excited for the new season of Bachelor and thinking about like how like a year ago I was in this position. It's like I almost forget that it happened.
How did you feel? How did you feel like right now, like a week before the premiere? What was going through your head?
Oh gosh. I had a lot of anxiety. I mean, you're preparing to see yourself on TV for the first time. And, you know, for me, I was going through a little bit of heartbreak. And so I'm like, do I want to watch this? Like, I don't know. I didn't know what to think, but really good time. Like once it all started, it was fun seeing like everybody's interviews and stuff. I think that was the best part.
If you could give the girls any advice right now, what would it be watching that first episode?
Don't be hard on yourself. Like you're human. Like you have no control. Like you had control in the moment of like what you were doing and saying, but now it's already happened and you have to realize that. Like don't be too hard on yourself and just watch it and enjoy it, because it's a crazy opportunity that not a lot of people get.
Yeah, fair. I think that's good advice. All right, well, on to the next breakdown. This man was the Bachelor once before. He was engaged, and now he is engaged again. Nick Viall popped the question to longtime girlfriend Natalie Joy. So I have to be upfront and honest here. I'm friends with both of them. I always thought Natalie Joy was like her Instagram name. I didn't know Joy was her actual last name. So when I saw that, I was like,
that's her last name?
Yeah, that's her last name, Natalie Joy. Yeah. I didn't know that, but I'm assuming it's going to be Viall now. But
yeah, I think their little things at their party said like the future Vials. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Party look they had. If for our listeners, you could check it out on Nick's Instagram or Natalie's. They had a surprise engagement party. Looked really nice. Nick asked me to go, but I wasn't able to make it out to LA. But it looked like a lot of fun. What are your thoughts when you saw it? What were you thinking?
It was so precious. And it's crazy because I had actually just met Nick in person a couple days before, Nick and Natalie. We were at an event, and I remember seeing that and being like, oh my goodness, like so precious. They've been together, and, you know, I've seen them like all over social media a lot, but then like meeting them, and I'm really good friends with Victoria. So I was excited to meet Natalie, and just watching that video was precious, you know?
Victoria and Natalie are really good friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. What do you think about Victoria? You think her and Greg are going to get engaged anytime soon?
I don't know about their timelines, but they seem like they're it for each other, in my opinion. Like, it's the real deal.
I think so too, but we'll see. Okay, our last breakdown is a Bachelor in Paradise couple. They just had their engagement party. It looked beautiful. Dean and Kaylin also just had an engagement party. What do you think? What'd you think of that? Did you ever meet them?
I haven't met them yet, but I follow Kaylin on Instagram, and, you know, I saw their engagement. That was when I started following her, and that was just hearing their story and like seeing all of that, seeing how they did that, it's really special. And I think they really took their time. And then seeing their party, like it must be nice to like celebrate something after you've been waiting so long. And I mean, honestly, like everything they did at that party was gorgeous. It looked like straight out of a magazine. Beautiful, beautiful.
It really
party.
did. It had that like, I want to say like boho look to it.
Had a nice aesthetic.
Yeah. So on our season of Paradise, they'll always call down like a successful couple near the end to talk to the couples that are serious. And Dean and Kaylin, they were that couple, and it was nice to see them. And I remember feeling like I felt good about like where I was with Serena at the time, but it made me feel even better, like seeing them and see how it does work after the show and how happy they were. And it's funny, people, I don't know if people know this, Serena and I were down for your season.
Yes.
What
I
did
was
you
just
think?
thinking that right when you said that. You guys were that for us. And, you know, it had been a whirlwind. Like, you know how it is. It goes so fast. And then boom, everybody's gone except for the couples that are still there. At that point, it was just 4 of us. And, you know, seeing you guys really just like took our brains from like, okay, all this happened. Everybody's gone now. And it kind of like put us in the next step of things and like really seeing things outside of this. So I think that's a huge part, you know, getting to have conversations with you guys and like talk back and forth about like, okay, like what was hard for you, or, what did you do whenever this happened? And so I think that that's really important. And it was really special when we got to meet you guys doing that. So
It's definitely like a roller coaster, because like you're flying this high with your relationship, and then all of a sudden all your friends and everybody that was there just leaves, and then it's like silent, you know. It's like, wow, it's really empty, and you're kind of like, this is now like very surreal. And then the couples that actually make it in the real world come down, and it just makes you feel like, okay, this we're not nuts here. We're not crazy.
Right. Because you're kind of thinking that for a little bit. You're like, okay, like, we've been on another show before, and like, we've been kind of like swept up before with like everything going on. And so I think it just like, it makes it more real. Like you're already having those thoughts. You're already like thinking about what it could be outside of this and like imagining what it could be. But to have like a couple in front of you that's already been in your shoes and, navigating the real world together. I think that's huge when you're there.
Do you guys, have you guys talked about wedding plans yet? Are you taking your time? Which is totally normal if you are.
Yeah, we're taking our time, and it's more so like we have no idea. I'm one of those people that like everything sounds like a great idea. Like I could elope. I could be like, oh, let's have a small party. Let's have a big party. Like everything sounds like fun. You know what I mean?
Give me dream scenario. What do you think? I don't
know. It's like I've seen so much, and I've been doing so much research that I think, something really beautiful. I think we're leaning towards doing something in the States. Maybe something really cool, like in the mountains, or I don't know. We're like open to doing a beach. We're open to Mexico, but I think we've been leaning a little more towards doing something in the States, just something a little more traditional. That way it's easier because we have a lot of friends and family, just like the logistics of everything. You guys are planning your wedding kind of in the South, right?
Yeah, we're actually doing Charleston, South Carolina, which, I've only been there once.
It's gorgeous.
But we kind of just looked at, we had like 3 or 4 locations, and it was like Austin, Texas, Las Vegas. We initially wanted to do Florida, but in September, it's kind of hurricane season.
Yeah.
Which South Carolina is still kind of around there, but we're hoping that we're fine.
So you guys picked your date or your time of the year first. I think we're trying to like nail down a location. That way we can decide like what time of year is best to do
We chose our wedding planner before we even had a location as well. So we were
that
like, we kind of
smart.
yeah, and we told the wedding planner, we're like, all right, we're kind of all over the board, but Charleston, we love the venue. So we were like, this is our favorite venue. That's the most important to us right now. So we went there, we saw the venue, and we were just like, yeah, this is it. Let's just do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, something maybe over in that area just because I think it's beautiful. It's like Notebook vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something really cool and like a little untraditional, but you're still doing it in the States. And like, maybe you can throw as big or as small of a party as you want. And so that's what we're kind of like hung up on. But we've just had so much going on with like being newly engaged and like trying to enjoy that, but also like travel and like going here and there and all over the place. So we're getting there, but
don't rush. There's no rush. I mean, I'm excited to see where Dean and Kaylin get married, because if anyone is going to get married on top of a mountain, it's those two, because he's a world traveler and a world explorer, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. Clickbait of the week. You ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. Clickbait of the week. The anti-ghosting text is the most painless way to reject someone. So basically this article, it was in Cosmopolitan, a magazine that I read weekly. And basically it is a painless way to reject someone on your end. But on their end, it is, like you leave the person guessing, which they say is much worse.
Yeah.
So your opinion. First, Serene, have you ever ghosted anyone?
No.
I don't know if I believe that.
No, I'm going to be honest. Like if it's someone that like I went on a date with or someone that I was genuinely like talking to and trying to get to know, no. I have ghosted someone for being absolutely off the wall weird though. And it's because it's like I'd rather do that than like act out a character and be mean because you're being like weird. You know what I mean? And when I say being weird, I mean like maybe like disrespectful or maybe like, it's just like I don't want to give that my energy anymore. But that's also like we're talking like younger, like college. I didn't really date a lot, but I think it's easier said than done. Probably like it's probably really uncomfortable because I feel like in our generation people aren't really as upfront like that. We've kind of gotten used to getting ghosted or ghosting people, and so I think. It might be kind of weird to hear like, hey, I'm just not really interested in you. But I think it's the right way to go about things. Like things are going to be uncomfortable. Like you have to sit in that discomfort, like in order to be respectful, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I think that's a good, like being upfront, and they say it in this article too, is like a good tool to work on, because being upfront helps you so much just in regular day life and business. And it's not something that comes easily. Like it's not easy to just be honest with somebody and be like, hey, like, I'm not that into you.
It's not, but it's also like, I think better in the long run because I don't know. I think I would feel really guilty. I've been ghosted before, and so I don't want, especially if I don't like that person or don't want them to pursue me. Like I don't want them sitting and like ruminating over this thing, I think. So
what was going on? What was going on in your head when you got ghosted? Like how long till you realized it?
I don't know, because I'm also like really chill, and so it's like, oh, maybe they're just doing their thing or whatever. But I think probably after a day or a couple days or something, you're starting to be like, okay, like maybe you're not, that interested if you're not talking to me at all. So I think that's, silence is an answer too. It's not the answer that you want a lot of the time, but like I want someone and appreciate someone that's going to be upfront with me. And I think that's what most people are going to say, ghosting is tough though. And I think once you go through it, you have a lot more empathy towards people and probably would be a lot more mindful of doing that to someone. For
sure. I personally think this is my philosophy. If you are really into someone, you get back to them, and you get back to them pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and at the beginning, I get it. Like, you're trying to play a game. You don't want to come across too aggressive and whatnot. But when two people really have a connection and they're really into each other, they respond. That's what I think.
Literally.
And when it's, you know, even if it's a day, like you're really like, who's that busy where you can't respond to a text in a day?
Yeah.
Like, no one.
Well, and it's
You
like,
know?
if it was genuinely something, like, they'll let you know, like, hey, I got really caught up with work and had to stay late and do this, and I had these deadlines, you know, that's something completely different. And I think, you know, giving people grace to have their own lives, especially when something is new, is big. And so it can be a little tricky to know, you know, if they're like pulling away sometimes. But like I said, like, people have their own lives, and if they ghost you, that is the loudest and clearest answer. Like, if you're confused, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because someone is going to let you know. Like, I always try to put myself in those shoes. Like,
let's say when you got back from Paradise, Brandon just ghosted you.
oh my goodness.
How terrible would that be? I want you to actually get in a fight with him today.
Hey,
about it.
are we still engaged? Would you love me if I was a banana? You know,
I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't be shocked if that hasn't happened at least once in Bachelor Nation,
I
where
would be surprised because it's a lot.
a couple got engaged on the show, and then one of them was like, uh-oh, and slowly ghosted the other one.
Yeah. I feel like it would be like they pulled back and ghosted because they were like, what the heck did I just do? And then, you know, eventually they have to come to terms with, okay, I'm going to have to see or speak to this person again. It's not real life where you can just fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah. It's one thing to get ghosted after you meet someone in a bar. It's another thing to get ghosted after an engagement. That's rough. That's rough. But we'll see. Okay. I think that kind of wraps it up for our listeners. You know, if you've ever been ghosted, that sucks, and probably don't do it to somebody else because you know how it feels. But it's definitely the easier thing to do. So with that being said, I think it is time to bring on not one, not two, but three of our guests. We have Nate, Daniel, and Tyler are all here. We're going to talk about the upcoming season of The Bachelor. We're going to get to know Zach a little more because that seems to be everyone's biggest issue right now is they're like, we don't know Zach. Well, we got some of his best friends here. So everyone, please welcome these three gentlemen. What's up, guys? Everybody welcome. I know Tyler and Nate, you guys know each other, but meet Daniel. If you do you guys know him?
No, I don't know. It's a pleasure to meet you, Daniel. How's it going?
It's nice to meet you, Daniel.
How's it going, guys?
Daniel, you've been on Clickbait before.
I have, yeah. Right after I got booted. I came on, we chatted. I actually talked to you, Joe. We kind of bonded over our experience. So yeah, I'm in a different spot now from a year ago, I guess.
Ooh, tell us about it.
Yeah, so a year ago, you know, coming off, I was just coming off the season. My mindset at that time, I think, you know, going there, meeting a whole bunch of people, you know, shooting for an opportunity to possibly get engaged and potentially like kind of solidify like a new relationship, you know, transition to like coming back and deciding if I wanted to like start dating again, how I wanted to keep moving forward. Luckily, you know, I'm dating. So I have a girlfriend now. So I'm in a different spot now from being single to now being fully in a relationship. Coming off the show, kind of like confused on what I was going to do next. If I like exactly because, you know, I was potentially going to be engaged in a short time period to now like what I want to keep moving forward with. So yeah, I'm a completely different person from last year.
Nice. Well, I got an important question I got to ask you, but before I do, Tyler, what's new with you? Single, living life, talking to anybody?
Yeah, same old stuff. I mean, I am single. Kind of just like I'm doing a big move. I'm heading out to San Diego.
Hey.
I know you're out there.
Hey.
So yeah, I'm just like prepping for that and everything. Kind of just been, you know, enjoying my time with the family. My brother had a baby, so kind of been babysitting a lot. And I just got back. I took my parents on a trip to Puerto Rico, and we had a good time and everything. So kind of just trying to spend all the time I can with my family and time being, not really dating or anything like that. Just focus on other things, and then obviously my big move. So yeah.
What's going to happen with all the games and stuff on the Jersey Shore?
I'm handing it over to my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's your move work-wise in San Diego?
Yeah, so work-wise, I mean, I've been applying to a lot of jobs for, a salesperson. And, I've had a few interviews here and there, but haven't really came to terms with exactly what I want to do yet. So hopefully, just getting out there, just figuring out when I get out there, that's kind of where my head's at.
Are you wanting to do any personal training or anything still? Because I saw that you were doing that for a bit.
Yeah, Mario and I, we still have our fitness gig that we do. And, we're thinking about creating our own app and kind of doing online.
Cool.
Training. So that's definitely something that's in the work too. I'm an entrepreneur, so I just try to figure things out. There's so many different things I want to do. So yeah, just going with the flow for now.
Love that.
Nice. And Nate, what's been going on? I know you're running around Chicago. Tell me about it.
Yeah, running around Chicago. I've been since I got back from the show, I've honestly just been in full dad mode. I felt bad for missing so much of my daughter's life getting back, and then just trying to get some sense of normalcy. I've had just an overwhelming amount of love from Chicago, because Chicago is big, but in the same sense, it's small. So you do get recognized. And then as far as personal life, I am dating. So I have got back out there. I have, a person that I've been seeing for some time now. So I've been doing good, outside of that, just traveling and enjoying Chicago for what it is.
What's her name? You mind saying, or you don't want to say it?
Oh, no, her name is Carol.
Carol? Carol what?
Yeah, Carol. She has two first names.
Carol.
Really?
Love that.
No. I was just joking.
Yo, drop the social security number.
All right.
Give us
That's it. We don't need to know more. All right. All right. So the big thing here, Bachelor's premiering, we need to get to know a little bit more about Zach, and we figured why not bring you guys on. So interesting. Daniel, you actually nominated Zach, right?
Yeah,
okay.
No. That's
right,
it's kind of surreal for sure. Watching him on his season, even when he was on with you guys, Nate and Tyler. So funny enough, me and Zach, we go back 2-3 years. Our friendship is kind of unique. I went to his roommate's birthday party. First time I ever met Zach. Knew his roommate for a year and a half.
Where are you guys living at the time? Where is this going down?
In Austin. So Zach was living in Austin. So, met him at this birthday party. He hit me up the next week. He's like, hey, we're going out. You want to come? Started hanging out with him. But at the time, I'm single. Zach was just coming out of a relationship. And so I got nominated to be on the show. And at the time I was nervous because you can't tell anybody. So no one really knew. And I was just what's the odds of me really going on the show? I'm doing interviews, but the odds are I'm not going, right?
Was he the one person you told?
He was the first person I told, and I knew Zach maybe for a month prior.
Oh, that's so
which
funny.
Is weird, right?
It's always like that. It's just the one person you divulge this crazy secret information to. It's
yeah, and I'm pretty sure I told him we were just both chilling in a club, and I was like, hey, I might go on the Bachelorette, and he was like, that sounds awesome. And I was like, yeah, and so I just kind of told him the whole story, and he was super supportive. Going on, coming back. Again, super supportive. And me and Zach were kind of in this weird time where we were trying to find the best way to meet somebody without doing kind of the traditional going out, which all of our friends were kind of doing, but we're both ready to be in relationships. And I think we both bonded over that. We're in a friend group that wasn't ready for that. But
you're I'm tired of the club.
Right. And so it was a 2-man club. So we really just hit it off. And coming back from the season, he was like, how do you feel? Because my stint wasn't that great, right? And I was like, it was fun because I met so many good, so many group of guys, so many close friends I still have. And at the time, you get a lot of time to think, especially when you're isolated, no phone, you don't have your surrounding cast of people, your friends, your family. You do a lot of just self-reflecting. And I was like, okay, I definitely want to be in a relationship after this experience. I know what I want because I feel from talking to the other guys and really, you got to break your walls when you're on this show. You really got to be emotional. And so did that, me and Zach were talking. I was like, why don't you apply? You guys know Zach. He's super like humble, super quiet, super kind of super chill. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. I was like, hey, if I nominate you, will you do it? He said, yeah. Because again, he was like, what's the odds if you nominate me, I'll really go. So I remember I was like, hey, send me like 8 pictures. They wanted some pictures. So he's like sending me pictures. I'm at my sister's house. And so I'm just like looking at pictures of Zach. And my sister's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, this is my friend. So she's confused. She's like, why are there so many pictures of this guy on your phone? So I'm like doing his like application, shoot it off. And I think like the next day he calls me. He's like, hey, somebody wants to like talk to me on the phone. I'm like, oh, you're golden. You're done. Because just knowing Zach, how genuine and authentic he is, I was like, they talk to you once, they're going to love you. And so he was like going through the process, always kind of like, I don't think I'm going to get it. Like just super, he never like once thought he was really going on the show until I think they called him and he was like, hey, I'm flying out a week later. Then I think it finally hit him. And funny enough, before he left, he came over. Brandon was actually at my apartment. And so Zach comes over and he like needs clothes. I don't know if Tyler and Nate, you guys know Zach's style probably isn't the best, right? And so he's like going through my closet, trying to find stuff to wear. And Zach's also, what is Zach, like 6'4"?
I'm like, you guys are not the same size. Like
we're
between
not,
the
right?
three of you.
I could never
we're not.
close from Zach.
So,
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like cleaning my closet, and I'm like, hey, I got some suits I never had time to wear on this season, so you could wear it. It'd be, hey, bless the suit. So I think his night 1 suit is actually one that I still have that he like took. So he just like cleaned out my closet, took a whole bunch of clothes. And that's kind of the story of like Zach going on the season. So he basically stole all my clothes. I nominated him. And and it's funny because like me and B-Mac, we're like hyping him up. We're like, oh, you're going to kill it. I like close the door and I'm like, he's either coming home tomorrow or he's going to be the next Bachelor. And me and B-Mac were like, yeah, he's either going home night 1 just because like he's so chill, relaxed, like he's going to get eaten alive.
He's going to have to fight for it or
exactly. Or they're going to
or he's
like,
going to shine.
Yes. And so, it worked out perfectly for him.
That's crazy.
Nice.
I was just about to ask you, like, did you have like an inkling of a thought that like he could be the next Bachelor? Like, but that's.
I either thought he was going to end up being with somebody because anybody that talks to Zach, and like that's a kind of the sad part about this is you guys came off a season with 2 leads, so like half the time split. No one really gets to see who like Nate, Tyler, like who you guys really are. You guys seem like great guys. So it like that's the downside is like anybody that there's a reason why we're here. Like anybody that knows Zach is like how genuine this guy is, and put him in any environment, he's going to shine. So that's why it's like, it's a bummer seeing him not kind of get the credit he deserves just because like the type of guy he is. He's literally, he could be friends with anyone. Throw him in any environment, any person. He's the nicest person. So yeah, I'm excited to see him like go, but it's like, I wish everybody could like just sit and talk to him for 5 minutes and they'd be like, oh, we love this guy.
Like know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Tyler, I know you and Zach both were Rachel's guys. What are your thoughts on Zach? I know you didn't really like him at the beginning, and no. But what, like
I'm like, what? Tyler likes everybody.
But you do have a different relationship with, somebody that you're competing with for the same woman. What was your relationship like with Zach?
I think, ultimately when we broke off, when we had the Rachel's guys, you had the Gabby guys, like you get so much closer. And one of the cool things was we had so much, like I say this all the time, we all had so much respect for each other. And knowing ultimately that one of us was going to end up with Rachel, if it wasn't going to be me, I'm hoping that it's going to be somebody who's going to treat her right. And I think ultimately Zach was one of those guys that I was just like, he is literally a stand-up guy all around, like total sweetheart, would do anything. And just the way he speaks and everything, he's a very smart guy. He's quirky, which I thought was like, he's this big guy and he's quirky and you're just like, oh my gosh, he's hilarious and in every way possible. And, when it was my time to go with Rachel, that's when I realized I was just like, all right, it's either going to be Tino, Avon, or Zach. And at the time I was just like, I knew, Zach was one of those guys that ultimately would be a great fit for Rachel at the end of the day, just because of who he was. And we learned so much about each other. And one big thing that I wish they aired, but they never had a chance to, and Nate will remember this too, is when we were all sitting down on the couch together and we had a full-on wine night with the guys. And when you start drinking wine and you get into your feelings and everything, and we start talking about like why we're here, and just so many people had so many things to talk about. And one thing, I don't think Zach will mind this, but one thing that Zach talked about is, he used to be a college football player. And during the time, he was like 300 some pounds, he was telling us, because he was a offensive lineman, I'm pretty sure. And, he was just talking about, one of the biggest issues he had was, loving himself. And he knew that in order to give that love to somebody else, he ultimately had to love himself. And he was able to get to that point. And that's why it took him so long to really put himself out there. So just seeing him be vulnerable too, it's kind of just like such a big guy like that, able to do that and just express, who he is, and learning so much more about him. Him as the Bachelor, I think it's a perfect fit. I think he's ready. I think that, ultimately he's just a stand-up guy. And yeah, I had a great relationship with him. And even to this day, like basically New Year's, he reached out to me and he says, "Hey, just checking in. I hope you and your family and everyone's doing great." Like, that's just who he is,
When you left, there was 3 guys left. Who did you feel was going to end up with Rachel? Did you think it was Zach?
A part of me, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I did think, yeah, I really did. Just because, ultimately, who he was, and, hearing about, his history, especially with, his dad learning how to fly, and, obviously Rachel's a pilot, just small things. I was just like, yeah, it's got to be Zach.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I do have a question for you, Tyler.
Yeah.
With you being you described this closeness with Zach just because, you were both going for Rachel. Do you have any funny stories? Because you described him as quirky, and I feel like watching the show, I could imagine him doing something goofy, or I could imagine just kind of him being the kind of guy that just makes you crack up without meaning to. Do you have anything funny that happened that we don't know about that would maybe let us know Zach a little better?
I got a funny one. This is the quirky, so he was a college athlete, okay, football player. All right. And Avon played college basketball. I played college baseball. And then Ethan, he hoops too. So we're all on the ship together, and we all went to go play basketball together, all 4 of us. So we're playing 2v2. So it's me and Avon versus Zach and Ethan. Zach was so bad at basketball. When I tell you, he looked so uncoordinated. And I'm like, you played college football. It was just so funny to watch. He's taking 2 hands, tossing the ball up like this at the basket. We're like, Zach, I thought you were an athlete. So obviously Avon and I smoked him, but it was just so funny. It was the entire time. Yeah.
That is funny. Nate, being one of Gabby's guys, were you ever close with Zach, and what were your thoughts on him?
Oh my gosh, me and Zach were cool from the jump. Whenever the first night, neither of us got to talk to any of the women, so we had that common bond. And we're sitting up there because at the end of the night, you take the group photo, and he's situated right in front of me, and we just start dying laughing. I go to Zach and I say, "Man, we really came here just to talk to a bunch of guys and go home," because we're going home. When I tell you, we both had tears in our eyes. We were laughing so hard. We kept having to take the photo over and over. But to reiterate what the other guy said, he's just such a genuine guy. And because our season was so unique, it was genuine, literally no threat from the guys that were going to talk to Rachel versus, Gabby's men. So me and him were really close, and we kind of had the same trajectory the entire way, because I was the first person to come back from a surviving one-on-one since Jordan B lost, and then the very next one he had it. So we were the only 2 in the house. Kind of felt like a powerhouse almost. And whenever he came back from his one-on-one, just to see he kind of had tears welling in his eyes of just how passionate he is and just so genuine. And I came back from my one-on-one, and the guy stayed up, until 1, 2 a.m. just to talk to me and see how it went. And that's genuinely the kind of person he is. He's just so thoughtful, knows what he wants, extremely mature. And And I think that people will genuinely see that. You don't really get to see too much of everyone's personalities because of the two leads and how the time was split. So it was really hard to see, just the true metal of everyone. But Zach has so much depth to them. And I think people are really going to fall in love with him and his journey here. I've talked to him after the show. Obviously, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm trying to prod him, just poking him to see, give me any type of information. But I think it's going to be a really good season. I'm so excited to see it.
Do you guys think he's the type of guy that falls in love? Will he fall in love with more than one woman?
Ooh, juicy.
That's a clickbait question right there. I see where you're that was good.
Daniel's like, good job.
I say no. I say he finds his person right away, and then he starts kind of confirming if they're a match by seeing their actions throughout kind of some of the, he's going on other dates and kind of see how she acts. But I think he right away chooses his person from the start, and then kind of just obviously it's a short period of time, so it gives you ample opportunity to kind of see how they move in the house, how they interact with other girls, and I think that could kind of help him out.
So essentially what you're saying is he's going to choose his women and then lead all the other women out.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Why do you gotta make it sound like that?
I mean, that's pretty much what you're saying.
Back me up.
I don't know. I think it's easier said than done. I think that we've seen so many leads say that they're not going to fall in love with more than one person. And I think, especially towards the end, you start to really become invested in these people's lives. And so I don't know. I beg to differ a little bit. I think I'm betting just based on what I've seen of these women. They all look really incredible. And then just knowing him, he seems really romantic. I think there might be, a tough decision possibly at the end. But I could also see where you're saying maybe he had someone in mind the whole time and we just aren't going to know that. I don't know.
Yeah. A click, it just clicks right off the bat.
Well, the women were released. Tyler, Nate, what do you think? Does anyone stand out to you that you think would be a perfect match for Zach?
Ooh, I haven't. I've seen them. I tried to get a little bit of inkling of their personalities. That there was the girl that won the first impression role. Well, not the first impression. Whenever they announced them, I would say.
Oh, the America's First Impression Rose.
Yeah, America's. I think that would be too easy to pick her.
Well, what type of girl do you think Zach would go for?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Down to earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down to earth, just sweetheart, and I feel like the biggest thing is you can tell, who is a good-hearted person. And ultimately I know that's what Zach wants. He just wants that. It's the small things with him. I think that he's going to find that girl that, just stands out just by being herself. And you can tell who's being real and who's not. And I think that he's going to figure that out.
Do you think
anyone you're interested in?
Who, me?
You're single. I know you look. I know you're looking.
There's some good-looking girls in that cast. I'm not gonna lie.
They're all really gorgeous. I mean,
they are very gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful so you're not talking about one of Zach's girls potentially.
Oh, I know.
Joe, I feel like Tyler. I feel like you should answer this question. Joe teed it up perfectly. Who are you
You were such a problem.
I mean, let's Tyler, put yourself. Let's say it was you. Let's say you were the Bachelor, and these are your women. Who stood out to you?
I'll be honest with you, Joe. I'm not very good at names.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, nice. Who do you think? Do you think Zach is going for a girl that's more like him, or do you think he's gonna go for someone a little more cuckoo, a little more crazy and goofy?
I'll say someone like him for
Someone
sure.
like him.
Yeah. I can picture that.
I concur with that.
Okay.
We all like a little crazy here and there, but I think when it comes down to it, somebody you're getting engaged to,
I don't mean crazy. I just mean a loud personality, someone really fun, because opposites attract sometimes. Sometimes that's what someone needs.
Yeah.
I feel like Tyler's trying to tell us what he wants in life. He wants a little crazy in his life. Is that what you want, Tyler? Is that why you're going to San Diego right now?
Yeah.
Who, me? No.
We're gonna watch
right,
the season, and the first
yeah.
girl that starts acting crazy, I'm gonna be like, Tyler. That's Tyler's girl.
It's like Tyler
Yeah.
is now following. Someone's like shows up in my suggested.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, these
All
are
right,
actually
we'll do-
good key points.
We'll do this. Daniel, you don't really, you could be quick because you weren't on the show that long, but I feel you. Either was I.
Joe, why are you
but
coming at me like this?
But from your experience, what advice can you give to the women right now vying for Zach's heart?
I think, like what we just said, anyone that, if they watch Zach's season, well, with Rachel and Gabby, and they saw how Zach acted, and they feel like they're a match for that type of person, that character that he showed, I think who he was on screen is exactly who he is off camera to a T. Super, humble, genuine. So I think if they feel like they're a match for that, then it's a perfect fit. Any girl that's like, he's my opposite, that I think when they go in there and they think they could change him, or he's going to be changed, like moving forward. I don't know. If they feel like they're a match because their character is similar to Zach, then it's going to win for them. If not, it's bad news for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shitty advice. Tyler.
My advice would be, I ultimately I understand going on something like this, you can be a little guarded. But just like any relationship, I understand being guarded, but you can't be in this, I guess, environment. You kind of have to be fully open. You have to express yourself. You have to show who you are, because this is somebody you might spend the rest of your life with. And we know how quickly everything works. So you have to be able to be fully yourself and put your heart out there. And obviously it happened to me, you get hurt at the end of the day, at least you were able to be yourself and show who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you're going to find out if Zach's your person at the end of the day. So as a girl, you can't go in there guarded.
Okay. And which of these girls do you like again? Just so I know.
I thought this was about Zach's season, not,
All right.
not Tyler's dating life.
Nate.
Okay,
Advice.
my advice, just from knowing Zach, I would say Zach somehow always gravitates towards great people. You could be in a room of 10, 100. If you are authentic, you are yourself. You don't need to be
Are you
loud.
calling yourself a great person? Is that what just happened?
No, no, no.
because because you guys
Zach
you
and I
guys
are
became
really good
boys on the
friends.
first.
He
That
likes
really
good
just
people.
happened.
Yeah, keep going on that list.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ, Nate.
No. And I didn't mean for it to come out that way, but it can be daunting in the room of other people who are attractive and seem like they have a lot of good qualities. But I think if you're yourself and genuine, he'll see you. He'll see subtle things that shine out of people, like good character, personality, and similar to he and his family. He doesn't need someone to be loud and screaming and boisterous and kind of just all over the place and crazy. I think he likes just genuine and more so calm. But that would be my advice.
Got it. Okay, Nate. Wow. Okay. Well, he pointed you out on that first night. So, we're gonna let you guys go. I just got one more question. If you're single, would you go on the upcoming season of Paradise? Daniel, you're first.
If I'm single?
Yeah.
Yes. If I could bring Will, I would have to bring my boy Will with me.
Just a simple yes or no, Daniel. That's it. Okay. Nate, this is rapid fire. Nate, yes or no?
Log out of this.
I'll fuck with you.
If I'm single, nah.
No? Okay.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna redo.
true.
I like Nate's answer.
And Tyler, you
Tyler?
said rules for 2023, don't look for love on the beach. Yeah, I saw that post. So is that a no or?
That's the rule for 2023 and 2024 whenever the next season comes
Oh,
out.
he's going further and further. He said
So
absolutely not.
2025 he's doing it. Yeah. Tyler's what scared me. I looked at him and I was like, nah.
Joe, you were at the beach twice, right?
Yeah.
Joe worked
Well,
out.
I mean, obviously it worked for me. I'm engaged. I'm married. I'm actually married.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you guys are talking to
would,
the wrong people if you don't want to go.
in my opinion, I wouldn't shut it down until it's that time, and then you make a decision on how you feel. If you're single and you feel it, you do it. Because when you instantly just are like, no, I'll never do it again, then that's it.
Well, and Joe wouldn't know Serena if he didn't do it again.
Yeah. And I almost didn't do it. Like I
have a question for you, if you don't mind me asking.
Go for it.
Did you, before you went down there, was there somebody you were hoping to see, or you just went down there just like whatever?
I went down there, whatever. I went down there. I went down there like, I'm probably not going to fall in love on this show, but like, I got nothing else to do right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it was more like boredom and like, yeah, let me take a shot. And I instantly regretted it when I got there. And you know, then I met Serena and I felt something, and it just happened. So yeah, I mean, it worked for me. So I wouldn't necessarily shut it down if I were you, but you know, you do what you got to do in San Diego.
Yeah.
I think you're going to go. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I had to put my money on it right now, Tyler, you are there. And Nate, if you're single, your ass is there too.
Yeah,
so that is my opinion. You guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming out.
Oh, wait, guys. I need them to do something for me.
Go for it.
Everyone, give your best impersonation of Zach's voice, because he's got that like, hey guys, I'm Zach.
I'm trying to remember the part. What does he say? Did everyone watch the last season, Bachelorette?
Yeah.
What does he say when he ends things with Rachel? I'm trying to think. He stops her.
Oh, you just go straight for the gut, right?
What does he say? I love you, Zach, if you see this. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I think he says, Rachel, can I have a moment? And then he goes and says, and that gets me every time.
That was actually a good impression.
That was actually Zach.
Really solid.
He just possessed you. That was... I've only seen that once, and that was totally him. Come on, Nate. Now, where's yours? Let's see it.
Okay, mine. I won't do that one. I'll act like I'm becoming Bachelor and I'm giving out the rules. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm glad I'm the Bachelor. And when you accept this rule,
that's perfect.
That was worse.
Yeah, Nate, that was just you with the deep voice. You guys, this has been so much fun. I appreciate you guys all coming on. Daniel, always great having you on. Thank you guys so much. All right, Serene, what'd you think? What do you think?
Honestly, those guys I feel like I know Zach a lot more now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I could have assumed, okay, he's like got a shy demeanor, but just seeing them speak to his character, I'm really excited to watch him.
I think you're right too. I think actually, I know you said that they say this, but he is like that boy next door, because they do say that. And I think he is. And I think, I mean, yeah, I don't know about you, but I think he's going to fall in love with multiple women.
I think so too. It's always the nice ones, right?
Exactly. It's always the nice one. And he's going to have, in my opinion, a really hard time breaking hearts.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of empathy. And for that reason, with him being so sincere, I think it will be really easy to fall in love with multiple people.
For sure.
Joe, thank you for having me today. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. And thank you to Tyler, Nate, and Daniel for being here.
Yes, and as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your burning questions. Check us out on social, like, comment, DM us. You know where to find us at ClickbaitBN on Instagram. All the links to all our socials are on that page. They're also casting for men to date our next Bachelorette. If you are single or know someone who is single, go to our website to nominate or apply at bachelornation.com/apply.
Share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you're looking at this week. And Prime members, make sure to listen to Clickbait ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today, or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus and Apple Podcasts. But before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at wondery.com/survey.
Serene, thank you so much for being here. And our listeners, thanks for coming back. We always love having you guys here. See you next week.